Okay, so shall we?
Yeah, we're going to get started.
And we'll keep letting people in. You can
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks to everybody for joining us. We have with us Jody Odell. She's Vice President of Sales for Soelberg. Normally we do presentations ourselves, but we've only started working with Soelberg officially on March 1st. So we don't have the depth of expertise and knowledge that Jody has. She's wonderful. I'm sure you'll be as enthusiastic about this product as we are after hearing Jody speak. And we're got a lot to go over, so we're gonna get right to it. So here's Jody. Thank you so much, Jody.
Oh, and if you wouldn't mind muting,
Oh, yes.
Muting yours now, and then just put your questions in the chat box. Thank you so much.
So good morning, East Coast, coming to you from the West Coast. Happy to see you all. And again, Zooms, thank you for being on your Zoom. Oh, I have somebody, big feedback.
Yep.
Let me see.
Maybe you guys, I don't know. I'll keep going though. So we are on the we're West Coast based. And I will tell you this, I would hope to see you all very soon. This is so much more fun together, but thank you for being on the Zoom call. And here's my promise to you today. I hope to engage you, entertain you, and hopefully inspire you with what we do. But I'm going to tell you this, as of June and July, we are actually based in Utah. If you guys are comfortable and you're ready, we want to see you in person. We will put you on a plane and bring you out to Utah for an amazing experience to meet the Soelberg team. So that offer is there for all of you. I'll stay after, we can talk about that. But again, I'm Jody Odell. Thank you so much for being here. When we say we design, we make, that's exactly what we do. We are Soelberg. We are a surface solutions manufacturer. Everything you see us do, we do it ourselves. We're not importers, we are creators. So all the products that we bring to you, our hands have touched them. And what we're known for is texture. So we work in 4 core materials. And what you're looking at here are the 4 cores from left to right. That gray one is an MDF with a 3D laminate. And those two together are powerful, resilient products. The white one is a solid surface. We think of solid surface as, again, a way to bring amazing texture and bring backlighting in a way to, ignite this with all kinds of texture. The green one is our PET felt. It's our acoustic product we call Muto. It's actually the 4th core we've introduced. So we'll talk about that one first. Then the last one is our beloved Natura. This is a Baltic birch plywood that people look at and go, oh my gosh, yes, we love this. It's just so textural. Now, if I told you guys, look at all 4 of these. If I told you these are the exact same texture, would you believe me? Because they are. It's how they express, it's how we texture them, that they have a different look, but they all are sharing the exact same texture. So I'm gonna go ahead and walk through, we're gonna really focus on a couple, one being the PET felt. This is our newest product. We've had the PET felt called Muto for about 4 years. Now, Soelberg was working on this before I joined them. As they watched the industry pull this material into vision, they watched to see what are people doing with this. They thought, gosh, you know what? We can take this and we can take all of our expertise, all of our know-how in texture and do something really different. Now, forget the gray chair. We don't make gray chairs. I think it's just there for scale. Look at that beautiful wall behind it though. We are taking 3-dimensional texture to this amazing acoustic product. And yet everyone else who's sort of in this vein, and I've come from the PET world, I've come from the acoustic world, I've been there for many years. That's why I joined Soelberg, to help get their story out. We are doing things so differently. We're doing 3-dimensional texture. Anybody else in this field trying to texture panels are cutting into the machines. They're cutting into the material of the machines and extracting material. We do just the opposite. These panels are fully intact. They're 1/2 inch and a full inch. And we're doing these expressive textures. Now, can we do flat walls? Of course we can. We've got a Roku standard. They just buy flat, but look what happens when you add the texture. You are elevating that user's experience. You're speaking to our sense of touch. When you design a space, when I was in design, you were told control air, light, and sound, you've got a successful space. You go a step further and speak to the overall sense of that person. And one of the senses is touch. Add the texture. It elevates that entire user experience. So we also are bringing out a whole new collection of bold new textures in our Muto. These are now live online. You can see them. We are so generous with samples. We want to get samples into your hands. But again, think about texture in a whole new way and elevating that user's experience. And on this material, we can print. Not only do we print graphics, I can print you a custom color. We have 19 standard colors. Don't be fooled. You want Pantone 212 Marigold? I can print it for you. You want to print your dog 9 feet tall? I can do that for you too. So think about just being creative. We can take all of our know-how into one product. In this case, this is a white core PET. We printed this really cool graphic that had a shading detail. Then we pressed texture to it. We can go a step further. I can cut through it to create, a voided pattern. So again, think about all the things in these materials you want them to do. This we just got, so it's not a professional shot. This is a school in New York where we printed these fish down these planks. We cut the Muto PET into planks. There's a whole school of fish going down this corridor. So again, be creative. I never want you to think that custom equals dollar signs, not for Soelberg. To me, custom equals creativity. Bring us your ideas. Let us create for you because nothing is ready to go. We stock raw materials on a shelf. And from there, we go to work once we know what you need. This is a detail. I just love how detailed our team is. They did a rolling track for these new screens out of PET and detailed that. So when you pull back the curtain too on who we are architects, we are designers, we are acousticians, we're engineers and estimators. So we've been in the seats of most of where you all are sitting, and we've come together to create this company and this product that we know how to bring it to you. We know what's important to you, and what's important to most of you in the design world is your billable hour. And I want to tell you this. I want you to look at us as your design solutions partner. When we set pencil to paper to go, what can we do to be of service? It is to save you guys billable hours. So just like you're going to hire your MEP, you're going to hire your acousticians, bring us in. We will do the work for you. We do not charge for our time. So let us help you design that acoustic ceiling. Let us help you do the evaluations on the acoustic spaces to make sure that we're going to bring you the right product in the right place. We want to be of service to you because we know if we can come into your house and save you billable hours and partner with you, that you'll be successful, we'll be successful, and your client will be so happy. So again, we're very different in how we approach this. For all the dealerships out there, I will tell you, through COVID, I think we came away from 2020 unscathed because we did millions of dollars in desk dividers, which is crazy. We don't think we expected to be the desk divider divas, but what we're able to do is create what people need. We're able to create the size. We're able to create the shape. And our lead times are 10 to 15 days, not 10 to 15 weeks, not 10 to 15 months, 10 to 15 days. That's unheard of. So we were able to respond to all these needs of, I've got to have it be curved. I've got to have it be a certain height that's going to drop below the work surface. Okay, we responded to all of that in record time to help. But this is where we've had the most fun and the most success as of late. We launched our baffles in January of 2020. And I will tell you, even though we launched at an opportune time, it has gone gangbusters. This is where our sweet spot is. We knew that we could do something really unique in this arena. I'll tell you, my whole team has come with me from another acoustic ceiling company. So we understand this world impeccably. So we knew that we could create, the most simple form in PET, but we can sculpt it. We can create it in different colors, shapes, but not just that. It's almost artistic. We do projects that are, yes, they're acoustic, but you know what? They're sculpture as much as they're anything. Their design intent is beyond just solving a problem. But when you have a product and a team like Soelberg who can create for you a functional yet aesthetically beautiful product, let's do something fun. Then we said, gosh, we're so known for our texture. That's who we are. That's how we started 13 years ago. We're already adding texture to our PET. Let's add it to the baffle. When you see these up in a space, when the light hits this texture, it is truly artwork up in the ceiling. It's a whole nother elevation, a whole level of bringing something important to that ceiling besides just a functional piece. Then we said, okay, our Natura, our Baltic birch, people are crazy about it. What if we did a mix of materials? So we did. So we took our plywood, it's sandwiched between two pieces of PET. It can be sculpted, it can be textured, it can be cut into all kinds of cool ways. It can be artistic. We did a project on the West Coast in San Francisco where we truly create artwork. We took a canvas and put it onto baffles. It was just amazing. But when you look at this in the ceiling, this is powerful. This is art. It is sculpture, but by heavens, it is doing a powerhouse job on solving that acoustic issue in these spaces. So the ceiling should be beautiful. Do you want them to just disappear, utilitarian? Sure, we can do that. But gosh, it's a canvas up there. Designers do something amazing that actually is functional. And look at this, look closely, get close to your computer. If I told you this is printed on PET, would you slap me and call me a liar? It is printed on PET. We print in-house. We do our own printing. There's been such a huge push to try and get wood up in the ceiling. And note to self, wood baffles are not acoustic unless they're somehow treated to be so. So don't be fooled by baffles. The term baffle is not always acoustic, but these are. What we're showing you here, we opened up the core, we're printing on this core material colors, but look at the grains that we're getting, and they're beautiful. So you want wood up in your ceiling, you want wood baffles, we've got, this is a baby version to show you that it looks like a true beamed baffle. It is PET, highly acoustic. The same material. I don't even know if Aaron and Howard and Alyssa have seen this. We took that whole idea, printed a full sheet of wood grain on a sheet of PET. We sliced it into planks. We applied it to another piece of PET, and now we've got this 2x2 peel and stick, really beautiful wall tile. That's crazy acoustic, and they're so inexpensive. So again, we're having a lot of fun thinking, okay, now what? Now what? And it comes because you guys push us. Bring us your ideas. We want to be part of it. This just demonstrates, especially for our dealer partners out there and our designers as well. And the end users, if you're on this call, you've got acoustic issues in your space, let us come in and solve them for you. We will show you what's wrong with your space, and we'll show you how to fix it with a very, very detailed information, both physically, we'll show you visually what it looks like. If you could see sound, we'll graph for you your problem. We'll show you how to fix it. So we do this for all kinds of companies across the globe who need our help. And again, bring us in. This is Fleet Core. CBRE brought us into Atlanta to solve some problems. These are our drawings. These are our designs, where this was actually DLR in Arizona. They gave us a little image of the Northern Lights and said, what would you do to create this movement of Northern Lights and baffles? Well, here you go. This is what we designed. Within 4 emails in 5 days, we were in their CD set by Friday. So again, let us take your ideas, bring us your thoughts. We want to create with you and for you, whether it's filling up the whole quarter, whether it's just a movement in the space. This is I'm in Denver right now, but this is in Los Angeles, where my home base is LA. This is our drawing, talking with the architect. They wanted to exemplify what's cool about LA, the sea and the sky and the movement of the sand. So we did this really cool drawing. They loved it. And now here comes the inspiration, and this comes the detailed drawings, but this was the install. Look at that. Now, this is not a professional shot. This is the installer going, oh my God, Soelberg, look how good this looks. We're like, hell yes, that looks amazing. So for the installers to get excited and want to show it to us, we love install shots, because it tells me that installer felt good about this, went together really, really good. And that's part of it too. Just because we get specified, the job's not done until it is installed. We stay with these projects. We want to make sure we are of service to the installer as much as we are to the specifier. So this is DoorDash in San Francisco. They put in wood baffles. They weren't acoustic. They were a huge problem. They called us and said, can you help? We're like, hell yes, we can. And they want us actually to come in and just hide. They want us to blend, like, don't blend. The juicy spots taken in the RCP, let us come in and do something that actually looks like we were meant to be there in the first place. So we created this sort of angular design down these corridors. And again, these are the install shots. This is Stockham Construction going, look how good this turned out. And the client walked it. DoorDash is like, yes, this is perfect. We're now doing building 6 and 7. We also, I won't bore you guys with this, but I want you to know, we understand hardware. We understand it impeccably well. And we did something for that installer to make their job so easy that now when we see projects out there, we're not specified, that sub will call us and say, hey, call the architect. I want to use Soelberg on this, because we've made their job easy. We've got proprietary hardware that just snaps to Unistrut. It's adjustable in the field. It in real time makes their job easy, where your baffles all make it to the ceiling, because a lot of times they don't, because the hardware isn't movable and there's obstructions in the ceiling. So sustainability, we were green before green was green. We have our Declare label at the highest level. We're on mindful materials. If you don't know mindful materials yet, it's coming your way. It's a big deal, and we are very much part of this, along with our FSC certification for other products. Okay, that was our PET. I'm going so fast. MDF is where we started. This is how we all got to be where we are today. 13 years ago, they discovered that they actually were a cabinet company doing all these beautiful multifamily, big condos, discovered that the same material, this MDF, gosh, we can texture it and do really cool things with it. Oh my gosh, this laminate is amazing on this. It's a 3D laminate. So we have probably 50 textures, and we have 80 stocked laminates. And again, this is one where I'll say to you, take this idea, take these textures, take this design and explode it, expand it, create it. If you want to do your own texture, bring it on. It's a $300 setup fee. That is it. And there's no minimum. You could say, Joe, I just want one panel. Great. Judd, I want 1,000,000 panels, even better. So let us create with you. Bring us your designs. I have 3 limitations in doing this for you. 1 is your creativity. How far do you want to go? 2, any single size is going to be limited by this material, which is a 4x9 to a 4x10. So any one piece has limitation. Third is your budget. Inside of there, it's unlimited. Let's go. We want to be someone who brings your ideas to life. So look at us that way. We're basically a custom house without custom fees. So again, these are showing some of the 3D laminates. They're beautiful. And what we do, so anyone in the world who understands this material, we do things differently. We cut those panels to size for your jobs. That's just a couple of things. Install, quite easy. Plus you've got a fully wrapped panel for anything healthcare. You can't have exposed seams. And now our seams are tight. We force match our panels. If you look here, that's a very tight little seam. So we know how to force match patterns, make it look like it is just a unanimous, whether we're doing one piece here in this dental office, which by the way, this is the one company I've ever been. We're in every market vertical you can imagine. Some companies are just corporate commercial, some are healthcare. We do all of it. We do K-12, higher ed. We do tons of healthcare. We've got a dental clinic and a senior living portfolio of all things. So anyway, anything you're working on, we're there. We're there at some level. And here, this is a 3-story convention center where the seam is extremely intentional. So that they wanted this module and this reveal pattern, no problem. Then look here, look at that edge detail. Look at how beautiful it comes together. That's what we're known for. It's about the details. They've got to be clean. They've got to be spot on. And you guys are you're East Coast. You know about the weather. This is a bar front in Boston. Now, can you imagine this material being kicked all day long? Every snow boot, big bag, 24/7. Those people in Boston are big drinkers. They're there all the time. So it's getting beat up all the time, and it survives. It's going to hold up. Here, it's just being used as artwork on the wall. It looks like wood. It's not. It's a 3D wood laminate with this beautiful texture on it. Do we do healthcare? Oh, heck yes, we do a lot of healthcare because the material itself lends itself to those conversations. Do we do K-12? Now, again, this is not a professional shot, but I show it because it's the installer going, oh my gosh, look how good these seams turned out. Because we cut these panels to size for these jobs. It makes their job so easy. And then beautifully in a healthcare, this little cafe in a healthcare environment, bringing just that soft texture to typically, if you're in the hospital, you're not there because you're having a good time, you're there because something's wrong. So to bring things to these spaces that bring calm and, bring texture, and then look at, we do monster huge performing arts centers and what this is all about. When I tell you I cut to size for you, so if I've got a 4x9 sheet of material and you're only taking a 4x5, I've got waste. Well, what do? We repurpose it into a panel product called Piastra. So this we do, oh gosh, we've got so many installations of this. I could just spend all day talking about Piastra. But again, it's a reused material that we've turned to a plank that gives you the ability to create textures and color and mood, all by changing the size or the material on it. Now, you've seen this pattern's called Alburo. You saw them in the healthcare environment. Here, someone said, Jode, can we take it? Can we blow it up and run it up onto the ceiling? Of course we can. So take our materials, take our patterns, expand them, blow them up. This is in your backyard. This is in DC. This wonderful design firm, you all may be on here if you recognize your project. This, they wanted to take 3 different textures. This is an open atrium, 135-foot open atrium. And they wanted to have these textures collide and then come down to a point. Looks crazy complicated, totally not. This is our team going, okay, directional, find the direction, find how they come together. And again, here's the installer going, look how good this looks. We hit every expansion joint on mark when we're supposed to, and we did. But again, for that installer to go, look at this looks amazing. And I know the firm who did this has it on their site. So I think they're as proud of it as we are. So again, bring us those ideas. This was someone's idea of what your brain would look like on the information highway. Now, totally off the wall. Have we done it before? Nope. Does it mean we can't do it? Nope, we sure can. So in this case, it was done in panel form and it was painted on site so they could have no seams. So, and then we go, we do division of space. So we've been talking about walls and ceilings, but in all these spaces, we've been working 15 plus years in open plan. People still want to define areas. They don't want to divide people, but they want to define workflow. So it's a great way to bring in texture, bring in a screen, define a space. If you're not going to build a wall or bring in glass walls, great way to do that. We have hospitality standards. This is actually in Maryland. Yeah, this is in Georgetown, Washington. Washington, Maryland, I guess is what it says. But we do Marriott's, we got a Four Seasons project. So we do these screens, again, to bring texture into space. People put this in the ceiling. In this case, it was a 1,200 square foot, just flat gyp. And they thought, gosh, let's use texture up in the ceiling to do something better than just a flat zip through visual. So again, you guys do all kinds of cool things with us. This is in New York for my New York friends. These are Times Square food carts. We did the red texture here. This was a screen we did on a basically metal boring staircase. Look at the screens we did, how much more elevated the space is because of these screens. Now, this is in Mexico, does not meet code. We know that. So we would have to work with code issues here. So don't be alarmed. We do know, we know what code. I'm going to fly through solid surface. It takes up too much time and I've only got a few more minutes. So solid surface, think texture. Yes, we do tons of hospitals. We've done hospital patient rooms with this, but we do design things with it beyond that. We do reception desks and backlight and signage. So I wiped these slides out because I want to get to our Natura Baltic birch. This has been such a fun product because every time we touch it, something different happens to it. Again, we buy these sheets and then we rot into it, and the depth of that ply. These two are exactly the same texture. Again, this is MDF on the right with a gray laminate, but the exact same texture is on this Muto or on the Natura Baltic birch. But look how different they are because the depth of the ply just, it can't help but show up and be masterful. And then here, that same product. So I'll tell you, Frank Gary's office fell in love with this product, and we have done so many cool things with Gary's office because of it. I'll show it to you. But this is where they first found us. This is our Raggio pattern. This is up in New Hampshire. So again, just a real linear design. But here, look at this. It's just this very minimalist restaurant. We are part of the artwork. We're just bringing in this warmth and texture and, you know, the design of how we've cut this pattern. And then here, that same pattern. This is done in San Antonio, Texas. Now, excuse the blue ladder, another install shop. I'm like, could you move the blue ladder next time? But we'll Photoshop at some point. But they've decided to put this into these beautiful archways. And look how that yellow brick and our Baltic birch Natura, how they respond to each other. That's just beautiful. Now, my heart did stop. I said, please tell me that you sealed the product. It's a raw product. And they did. They sealed both sides. I'm going, heat and humidity in Texas, those won't survive. They sealed them. Somebody was thinking. This is in LA. This is HOK. If you're online, this is your LA office did Lynn Lease. We did this sort of I call it the beehive, honeycomb on this sort of biophilia wall. Again, like other materials, they can be done with as dividers. You want to bring the warmth of this material into, defining walk spaces and defining workflow. This is in New York, Gensler, New York. If you're on, this is your Gensler office in New York. This space just speaks to my total design aesthetic. You imagine if our panels were not there, just how torn down it would feel, how austere it would feel. But look how we bring the warmth with that beautiful color of that banquette. Everything about this space makes me so happy. So kudos to Gensler, New York. This is beautiful. Turns you blue. This one, now I will promise you, I bet you someone on this call today will take this and run with it. And please steal this idea. This is brilliant. This designer wanted to take our Natura panels and she said, can you cut all the way through it? And we'll let the color of the wall be, in conjunction with it. We're like, well, of course we can. And then she said, instead of stopping at the break, can we cantilever on airplane cables? Well, of course we can. This is a 3-bank elevator basic corridor. Look how open and tall it is. Now, she could have stopped at the break, but to cantilever this, it just brings down into human scale this beautiful canopy over these elevators. So I have shown this enough. I have seen people use it. So please do. So this is a conference table we make. Now, do we make conference tables? No, we don't. However, we make surfaces. Do you want that surface to be a conference table? Got it, we can do it. Now, this wasn't that 15-minute no one can touch down table. They put glass on the top, so it actually was functional. But I want you to look at this. Now, imagine taking this and flipping it up and making it vertical. Watch this. That's basically what this is. What you're looking at here is the topographical relief map of the Wasatch Mountain Range. If you look at the top, you'll see the shadows. These boards go from 3 inches up to a foot. And when I get you guys on a plane, when you are ready to come see us in Utah, I will take you here and you will run your hands across it and it is going to feel and look like this. Only instead of being horizontal, it's flipped. It is spectacular. It is artwork in its most beautiful form, and I want you to see it. So let me know when you're ready to come to Utah. Now, so we showed the elevator corridor we'd cut through and cantilevered, and this is in San Francisco. And that firm's like, oh my gosh, we've got this product and we've got this project. It's so custom and no one knows how to do it. We're like, oh heavens, that's so not custom. It's so easy. So we jumped in. Looks crazy custom. All this is a 4x8 sheet of our plywood. And that same pattern that you saw is just cut in a gradient form. Now, what's really the cool thing about this, behind this is an LED light film. The LED light film is changing colors. So as you're coming off Market Street into this space, this wall appears to be moving. It's so not moving. It's just the color with the gradient pattern. It is beautiful. So again, I implore you to take these ideas. If you want this presentation, let me know. We'll send it to you. I want you to be inspired by this. And this is what Frank Gary's office did. So this is where they fell in love with our Natura. And they said, can you take and now layer it with a laminate to get color? Well, of course we can. So now we took the flat sheet, laid color on top of it with a HPL laminate, and then we started to cut through. So the color is actually the highest point on the panel. It's an optical illusion. But so the black is not recessed, it is on the top. And then we cut through it. So here's a good example. I love this one with the blue. These are just so dynamic, and we have shown them. They're brand new. So you're the first ones to see this in a full presentation. So kudos to you guys. But and if anyone ever watched Mad Men, this is such a Mad Men space. I'm going, oh my God, this could have been in that show Mad Men. But again, take these ideas, look at this with black. It makes me so happy. I'm gonna have to find a space to use this somehow. But again, they're beautiful, they're textural. It's just another way to elevate those spaces with texture and design. And look at the Raggio with blue. Be still my heart. It makes me so happy. So whoever does this first, I'm going to send you something special. Whoever specifies this first and gets it installed, I want you to call me back and go, I did it first. And I'm going to send you something glorious. So anyway, that's our product in a nutshell. This is the product we did for Gary's office. We did these tabletops for the Philadelphia Museum. If you've been to, you may have Philadelphia Museum of Art. This is the space here. And they wanted something very specific. I've worked with their office because I'm LA based, and I'm so privileged to say I've never met Mr. Gary, and I would never call him Frank if I did. Our team calls him Frank. I'm like, no, you don't call him Frank. It's Mr. Gary. But anyway, we did these tables because he wanted something. When you work with Gary's office, that goes like this. Before they put pen to paper, they want Aaron and Howard to walk in the space on day one. They want Aaron Howard to walk in the space 20 years from now, and every element, every line, every detail, it has to hold up. And I'll tell you, I've been very privileged to be in the Disney Concert Hall time after time after time. It's been there for quite some time. Every time I go, something new speaks to me. It holds up because it's designed in very similar ways. So our tables, it's renewable acrylic. So it's extremely hard and difficult to hurt. So it'll stand the test of time. But if some crazy kid with a knife got crazy and the table, you can take a scratch pen and bring it down. But what's cool is they're back painted, much like back painted glass. These colors are back painted, so they're not really blue, they're not really green, those are clear. The color is back painted, but it's a solid ply base, not a edge banding. So we can do things like print table numbers, we can print graphics. So it was just a way to bring this to a solution. When they had been working with us before, they knew they could trust us to create these tables for them. So now, do we make tables? No, but do we make tables? Yeah, we make tabletops. So we have a product called Aura Tables because it's been so popular in the price points, and they've been used on sit stand desks. We've done this for a gaming company where we're doing thousands of them. Their gamers like this top, so we do it. And then we've got a marker board. We didn't mean to go into marker board. We kind of fell into this. So the dealers out there, I'll tell you, and anyone looking for providable surfaces who need to save money, what a great product. It does not ghost, does not stain. Sharpie will come off. I sent a video to Aaron to show how Sharpie comes off. But it's the price point, not just the product, but the whole cycle. I don't ship as fragile freight. Don't have to block your wall. It's not heavy. And then it's only about 30 bucks a square foot at the high end. If it's magnetic, it's 20 bucks a square foot without magnetic. So with that said, I've gone over 2 minutes of my presentation. I hope I have inspired you. I hope I have engaged you. If nothing else, I hope I have entertained you with my crazy fast talk. But I will stay here if you want to talk about anything. If you want samples, if you want this presentation, just reach out to Good Lines. I'll tell you, I've known these guys for a long time. I used to be with Buzzy Space, so I knew them. And when I went to Soelberg, I knew I had to have them back in my house because you guys have got some of the finest people that I've ever met and worked with in Good Lines. So thank you, Good Lines, for trusting us to come into your house. Thank you, East Coast, DC, Virginia, for letting us come into your house today. I'm going to be quiet now. I am Jody Odell. I am done, and I'm going to, and I'll just be here if you need me.
Well, Jody, your
Thank
enthusiasm is really infectious. So thank you so much for that awesome presentation. If anybody has any questions, you can put them in the chat spot, and I do have a question already.
Okay.
You want to read the questions, and I will.
Which one?
This one right here from Allie.
We have screens installing at a fitness center in the next few weeks. I've seen some installs where panels don't seam well. Is that an installer quality concern?
Yeah, well, if they're not seeming well, something is wrong. Yeah. If it's is it texture or is it acoustic product?
Well,
Sorry, it was kind of two different things. The screens are just saying we're installing some, but the panels were the textured panels, the solid ones, not the acoustic panels. But you could see the seams, like they butt joined them, but then you could still just see all the seams as opposed to being able to mud them together smooth.
The only way you're never going to see a seam at all is if you do a paint grade MDF and you caulk those seams and paint it. That's the only way to not see a seam. But the texture, if they're force matched properly, they really should be so tight. The seam should be so tight that it's not that it's not visible, they're just not obvious. So again, the only way to not get a seam, then we go back. The only way to not ever have a seam is to raw MDF, caulk it on site, paint it on site. Then you won't have a seam. That's the only way to do that. So if you look here, these can you see my screen still?
Mm-hmm.
This has a seam. It's tight, but it's there. You can see it, but those patterns are absorbing that seam. And if you didn't want to have that seam anywhere, again, paint grade, it goes to site raw. They will caulk it and they will paint it and you will not see a seam. Otherwise, it seems like here's one here again. It's tight and the pattern is unanimous. The pattern flows beautifully across it, but there is a seam here. Let me show you a non-seam. I don't have any non-seams. I might not. I've got one that's not in this presentation. Like these will hide the seams. There's so much going on here that these will hide the seams because there's so much lineation and movement. There's a seam here. She's right here. Follow my cursor. That is a seam. It's tight. It's there, but it's not visible unless I really go show it to you. That's how texture should look. Did that answer your question?
Okay, so it's also less obvious with the more detailed textures too.
Right. It'll be less obvious. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Anyone else have any other questions?
Like with Piastre, you wouldn't see Piastre because it's plank. There isn't a seam because they're all so irregular in how they go in. There's not a seam.
right.
I have a question. I'm installing the Geo panels this week on a job site. Well, the GC is. So we were told that we can glue them to the wall, but do you recommend a Z-clip?
It depends on, do you want to take them back off? If you want them to come off easily, your Z-clip's your way to go. And, Z-clip's going to give you a little bit of an air gap. Now, those Geo tiles aren't acoustic, but they would provide a little bit of a benefit. But, direct glue, they can direct glue them. People have actually done Velcro with these things. They wanted to bring them off. The Z-clip just gives you that ability to move them and take them off. The direct glue, when you glue them and you try and take them off, you're going to pull that first layer of jip off with you. It depends on what how long are they going to be there? Do you ever see them coming off again? And the only thing too with Z-clip, you got to make sure you've got clearance to lift. So when you do a Z-clip, if you put them on and you're buttoned up to another one, you're going to have to take several of them off. Otherwise you don't have room to lift because the Z-clip, as you guys know, they're like a Z-clip. They clip together like this. So it truly is, there's so many ways to attach them. People have actually done on standoffs where they want them to be, sort of like art on the wall and like to be taken off. We've done 1, 3, and 5 inch standoffs on some of our product. So it really is about your design intent. And we're definitely here to help guide you if you've got questions, and you can actually reach out to our whole team and they'll walk you through what they recommend.
Okay.
Jody, we had another question about the PET product. Someone asked if that can be routed, but our understanding is that the patterns are impressed within the PET. Is that correct?
We can do both, Howard.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one here, this one here, we actually press the texture, but yeah, we're doing a really cool job. Oh gosh, it's so cool. We are running out the texture. We're doing 2 things. We're actually going to press and then route. So yeah, that's easy. Whether we're telling the machines, it's the way the blade cuts. Either the blade cuts all the way through, or the blade cuts just in a recess of a 1/4 inch. So yes, these machines are so smart.
And does
They-
the color, can you see the color on the side when it's cut through?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So if we're not printing any color on it, the core color comes all the way through. Well, it's like this. It'd be, no. It would be like, so here, cutting in these panels, we didn't print anything on it. The core color's all the way there, but we definitely could just cut and remove a piece of that so it isn't all the way through. That's easy.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent.
So there's very few things we really can't do. It sounds crazy, but I'll tell you, my CEO and my CFO, it's Kirk and Steve Soelberg, they're brothers. They're never in
Run
the,
down the front before it hit Sarah's car.
oh, don't hit Sarah's car. But my CEO, my CFO, they're surfer dudes, they're skater dudes, and I can't get them to sit in office because you know why? Truly, when you are ordering our acoustic Ludo product, those two are the ones who are making your product. I was like, you're my over high price labor, but that's not how they do it. They love it. They're machine heads. We all go to Neocon and go, oh, look at the new Luna fabrics, look at the Kill-Hour furniture. They go to machine shows and go, oh my God, look at this drill bit and look what this can do. So that's what they get excited about. So, and I'll tell you too, when I sat down with Soelberg and they asked me to come, because I've been around for 13 years, and they've just been this maker studio, this real creative studio, but their brand was never elevated. And so they brought me in because they've watched me elevate brands for several years. I said, okay, listen, happy to do this, but tell me, how do you see yourself in the market? Who are we going to be in this market as we raise brand awareness? And Steve Soelberg, excuse my language, said this, Jode, I just want to make cool shit and have a good time. I'm going, all right, dude, that's it. Our motto is we're going to make cool shit and we're going to have a good time. And we are not for sale. I will tell you, before Armstrong went and bought turf, they came calling to us and they were like, we're not for sale. 3 of them tried to buy us twice because we're in their backyard. We are not for sale. They're having too much fun. And that's just it. They love what they do. They love the creativity. They love what you guys bring to us and say, hey, can you? We're like, oh, hell yes, we can. So we're in this for the long haul. We're not going anywhere. So working with us, bring us your ideas, bring us your creativity, let us take your ideas and make them come to life for you. That's their biggest joy. They love to tinker and figure out, oh, I'll show you one cool thing real quick. Can't tell you who this is, but I'm going to stop share. Let me share this for you. I'm going to share with you. This is something really cool we're working on. And we were just on the call with the architects and designers. And it's a baffle art. It's what it is. And I will tell you, the architect said, after talking to us, because they had this grand idea, they're going to have to sculpt the ceiling to have the baffles connect. We're like, no, don't do that. Not only we save their job a lot of money by saying, no, leave your ceiling the way it is. The baffles will do this. Shaler, the architect, said, you guys have saved us so much time. This is amazing. And if you ever want to come back and see, I have all of our drawings. We work in parametric software. We're working in Rhino and Grasshopper and Python. So it's beautiful to see. And I say it like I know what I'm doing. I don't do any of it. I have the coolest kids on my team who do all this crazy stuff, and they're beautiful. And to see their brains go to work, I'm like, oh my God, I was never as smart as this. And they're beautiful what we're doing. And to see this come to life, when it does come to life, when I can share you what it is, just think a really big tech company, and it's the lobby space, and we're doing something so glorious. It's amazing. So again, this is where our juices flow. This is where our excitement goes. Oh, hell yeah, we can do that. So thank you again. Are there more questions? I'll answer more questions. I'll stay here all day.
I actually have a question. I don't think there's any in the chat, but can you talk, Jody, a little bit about the process for a designer if they are just like, okay, we're on a project and we know that we need ceiling baffles in this room. So starting from that one moment for a designer, and can you take them through how you work with Soelberg and what you get back in return?
Super easy. So you call up Goodlines and say, hey, I've got a project and it's a ceiling solution we're looking for. Here's what we need. I need your RCP. I need your design intent. If it's a built environment, can we get shots of the space? If it's coming out of the ground, no problem. We do that too. And from there, our team will take your RCP. We'll, if we need to, we'll do a design call with you. We'll get on a phone call with you and talk through some of the details, some of the ideas you might have. And then from there, it truly is sit back and we do the rest. Let me walk you through Like even with this one with DL, this is actually with DLR, all we got from them was the little image of the Northern Lights. And then we said, we need to see your ceiling. So we got their RCP and then we just laid it out. So we will lay out for you the call to raise. We will lay out the quantity of baffles after we do an assessment. Our acoustician, which we have our Nathan, and I call him Nathan the nerd with love and affection. He knows I call him this. He's an acoustician. He's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant young man. So he will make sure that what we're doing is going to solve the problem in the best way possible. Then we will, again, we will lay it out for you. This is called the array. We're doing perspectives. We did a detail to show what hardware we're using. And so let me show you. So this one here, this is the job in Los Angeles. So this becomes a detail that we did to show every baffle. To get this kind of movement, we have to tell the machines, to script the machines to cut every baffle incrementally different. So it's a very gentle movement. So you get back from us, if you want it in CAD, you want it in Revit, you get a document that slides right into your documents. You're going to get the RCP back, you'll get the array layout, you'll get the baffle counts, any details we need to provide, and a rendering should you need one. So again, this was DoorDash. This was so fussy. Where
Jody, we can't see your screen
We're
now.
still seeing the last, there we go. Go back to sharing the presentation.
you see that?
There you go. Yep.
Thanks.
So this was DoorDash. And again, so they had put in these wood baffles. Again, I think these designers thought the term baffle meant acoustic. It does not. Wood baffles, unless they're perforated or treated, are not acoustic. And DoorDash had a really bad acoustic problem. So they put all these wood baffles in that just exacerbated the problem. So now in our minds, when we got the RCP, all the juicy space, the MEP was taken, all the clear spot was taken. So we had to come in a very fussy space. So what we did, got on the call with studios, pulled in the subcontractor, so that the subcontractor is the one who has to get up in there and do this again. They are so critical to the success of your job. So we had them on the call to walk through the fussiness. And I will tell you, the Stockholm contractor is the one who did this. He called back, these are their photographs again. They're like, you guys made our job so easy. And they're the ones, when they see a spec go out and we're not on it, they will call and say, we want you to bid this. Now, let me tell you this to my designers out there. When I was in design, if I had specified a Kielhauer product with a loom fabric and it got switched in my spec, I would never forgive you, because my time went into that. So I will promise you this. If we are asked to switch your spec on your job, we will not do it unless Good Lines talks to you first and says, hey, we've been contacted and here's why we've been asked to substitute a product. It could be the install is going to save time, our lead time is better, our price is going to be better. I'll tell you, our prices are really good. And there's a whole reason behind that. So I promise you, you have my guarantee. I will never dishonor your spec. And if you say, Jode, we got to hold the spec, we will gracefully bow out. I don't want a project with you. I want a relationship with you. I want to have long-term success with you. And I will never forsake that for one project. If you say back off, no questions asked. We will not chase it. So anyway, I just hope you specify us and we don't have that problem. So that's kind of the goal. So anyway, we try to make it super easy. And thank you, Alyssa, for asking the question. We really need your RCP, your design intent. If you've got a budget, let us know. And again, that's one thing I'll tell you too, as we do these things, the worst thing I could do to you all is go down a rabbit hole of crazy ideas, only to find it in the end that it's crazy price. You will always know where we are. We will do a checks and balances along the way, price point wise. So you never are blindsided going, wait, what? No, we won't do that to you. You're always going to be in tandem with us on where the pricing's coming in. We're fully transparent on that. So I hope we make it easy for you. That's our goal, is to, again, I want to lift the burden of those hours off your desk. I want you to be more profitable. Let us take that burden of time and do that work for you. And again, my team is your team. And wait till you meet them. They're all so freaking amazing. And when I bring you guys out to Utah, you're going to go, oh yeah, these guys are awesome. And I work with the cool kids. I don't know what to say. I'm not a cool kid. They're the cool kids. And I get the privilege of being on a team with them and getting to watch their minds go to work. So please, again, be open to reaching out for help. That's what we want to do. We want to do great projects with great designs. And I want you to walk through the space and go, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I want you to be proud of it. I want you to be proud of us and I'll be proud of your designs. That's the ultimate goal. Anything else? I'll just keep talking till y'all hang up.
think that's it. If
Right.
anybody else has any other questions, you can ask them or put
Or
them
if
in the
you-
chat.
Right, if you
Or
think of something later, you can always just reach out to us and we'll get the answers for you.
we'll
Yeah.
send the recording to everybody also that is on the call. So
Yeah, you can have this presentation if you want it in a PDF form. You can have it. You want samples, just tell Good Lines what you want. We'll get them out to you. Yeah, we're here to do some cool shit and have fun.
Well,
I've already been asked for
Thank
the
you.
presentation, Jody, and for some samples of the wood grain printed PET. So if
Awesome.
anyone is already thinking project ideas, please email us and we'll get it going for you.
And if you ever do want to come back and just look at like really cool, I mean, just really cool, crazy custom stuff, I have a whole presentation of just really amazing things that your brains have asked us to do. And it's just fun to go show them. They're just all kinds of crazy cool stuff we've done. So I'll present and talk to you guys anytime. So again, thank you. I hope if nothing else, I've entertained you.
you have.
I hope I
You're
didn't
awesome, Jody.
Pardon? I hope so.
That was awesome.
Yes,
It was
that
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.